Welcome on Radio Karoun, and let's focus on quantification vectorized again. Let's say survivalism and life extension is a integration quantified vector, like a circle rod, and then you want to enlighten and upgrade this ability to survive, and you make survivalism upgraded. So you draw another vectorized quantification. Then you do another quantification through the two wheels, the two circles you just draw, in between, just like a sinusoidal, made of quantification and quanta melted into compiled data, in between the both started vectorized integration quantified systems. Well, in one hand, you have the fully rationalism of I want to survive, like yes, survive, eat or drink or give birth. In the other way, you have how to solve any systems would make me able to think or solve. I will save this solution to be the best way to melt the other way of integration towards a better vectorized both quanta system made. Starting on this case, first we have the first vectorized quantification motor system, which makes you being polarized by minus or plus magnetism extended to. But in first place, we want to deal with organic systems, which means you have to melt every organic systems in one to live, in one to survive, which brings you to one singularity between every organic systems, that the communication system in between every systems area. Which means every organic systems able to split in another living and comprehending living organic in the same ethnic or ethnicities or species of the first living organics, which means when you melt the two circles vectorize quanta intrications, then you have another intrication quantified system melted of the two first. You land into another third quanta intrication vectorized of this two first calculated systems, making a third vectorized integration based on the first two you are empowering in within the will of every species able to communicate in between and by fighting themselves, eating themselves, like every polarized magnetism between languages and comprehensive or non-comprehensive languages in between every species areas, every species able to communicate in between their own specifics. Okay, we were settled on the third vectorized integration system, which in fact is only melted for the inner vectorized firstly made integration quanta system made into the first settlement. Well, there is a lot of vectorized integration systems. A fourth one, which is the first one melted into a fourth one. The fourth one is the meaning that every species able to communicate, even they want to kill the other species or not, they're just sharing information in between. The fourth that melt to be for the inner system in the third circle. In the fourth circle, the species able to understand each other species they are not sharing the language with, like you would learn Japanese if you were French, or you were learning English if you were Japanese. You melt languages into other languages, and what makes a single integration context system, a fourth one, which doesn't belong to any of the first organic living systems, but in fact it's it's a expanded integration system, but not reliable, not linked directly with the first inner species. The first species, like you are a human, you make your first vectorized life, and you melt into everything else. Let's mean the fourth circle vectorized intricate quanta is meant to be the history of organic life. And what we can solve this is this fourth circle is always here since it started from buying a hay pond. It didn't land on the B pond first and came back from the A pond. Meant to be an integration quantic system, like the A to B is already on B to A, so it's like direct diagnosis. What lands on you that communication systems is the only trustable system through space and time, which makes you able to understand that communications is way more important than your instincts or even your ability to solve your inner knowledge just by yourself, which means like education, learning, sciences. That's very easy to know, but what we learn in this, that evolution just loses itself in front of this fourth vectorized circle, which is stable, widely more stable than the three first one, because the two circles of the two first vectorized integration are meant to be solved in the third circle, but the third circle doesn't link the two first one to the fourth one, which means the two first circles, the two first vectorized integration systems may be lost when the fourth one is still stable and able to be understood by another species evolved in another integration systems, which has been occurred in another way of systemic evolving through a sustainable ability of survival. Let's say you are able to breathe, like you are underwater, but you don't breathe, you don't have lungs. What happened? You learn to be breathing underwater since years ago, 1,000 years, thousands, billions, who cares? Next step is you came into another world where you have to breathe before you're not underwater, you have to breathe outside in the fresh air, oxygen. What happened is the communication system, the fourth circle. Okay, I stop. I see you on the later Radio Karoun of Game Over.